All right, we're pretty much we're rolling.
Different spot, different chairs, much smaller.
One time I want to go like deep in the woods, bring some bug spray.
Bug spray.
Because dude, I was getting eaten alive last time. I was trying not to say anything, but
no, I was watching it back, and it was like the amount of times you went to scratch your leg, I'm like, dude was getting destroyed.
I was like an enemy swarm.
Oh, is this going?
Yeah, we're rolling.
Oh, word. Okay. Cool.
Oh, we could start with the verse of the day. Every episode.
Good. Yeah, no, we should do that for sure. Because I've stopped like making those videos where I like look at the verse. I'd have the verse of the day in the thing, and then I would make whatever about it.
You can kind of do that to start it.
Yeah. Okay. Word.
Or I wonder if there's like those, those bug bracelets. Do those work? Ones at Walgreens. They have like it's like a little like neon colored bracelet or whatever. It's supposed to get bugs away.
Yeah. We should. Word.
Could try them.
This is bit that I wanted to do at like the start.
Okay.
Of like the scene from Spy Kids 2 where that like doctor is like, you think God stays in heaven because he too is afraid of his own creation?
Yeah.
So there's like this bit that I want to do. I was like, one of us will say that, the other one will be like, did you just quote Spy Kids 2 to me? He's like, maybe. Why? It's a good movie. No, it's not.
That's a great movie.
It's like, it's a great movie. Sure. We'll agree to disagree.
That's a goated movie with the thumbs.
Yeah, well,
the thumb people.
The thumb people, dude.
That's hilarious.
Okay.
Word. Dude, this is why everyone needs to be using credit cards smartly, because I went to H&M a couple days ago because I'm about to go to Michigan, and I like don't really have a lot of like summer clothes or like shorts. All the shorts that I have pretty much are like just sweatpant material shorts or whatever. I don't have any like chino material like this or whatever, like shorts that fit me, and I've been trying to like find the perfect length. Is it disgusting or what?
I don't know what that tastes like.
Describe it as best as you can.
I don't know. Hold on.
What flavor is that?
It is
camera. No sponsors though.
We are not sponsored by G Fuel yet. It is, what is this called? Again. Sage Mode. It's a Naruto G Fuel energy drink that is not listed on here, so I don't know what I'm drinking.
It's Naruto flavored. It's right there at top. In the red.
Where?
Oh, performance.
It's performance energy flavored. Anyway. Welcome back, dude.
Welcome back to episode 2.
We have an official name for it now. Broken but Mending.
That's pretty good. How'd you come up with that?
I finally finished editing it, and I had it all set up on my laptop, and I was on that last screen in YouTube where it's like, put a description of your video, like link it, all that stuff, and put the title. And I was sitting there staring at the title. I'm like, okay, I didn't really think about this part. I put this off. So I like leaned back in my chair and I was like, all right, God, there's no way I'm coming up with something clever for this. So this has got to be you. Give me a title, God. And I was sitting there trying to figure out a bunch of different ways to incorporate everything that we want to talk about in the podcast, of like just being just a couple of dudes in their 20s who are Christians and trying to figure everything out.
Yeah.
While also something you said in the last episode about like we're figuring stuff out. We have no idea what we're doing. So we're broken people, right? And we're trying to figure everything out while also trying to hopefully teach other people through this.
Yeah.
So I got the
By the way, if I'm on my phone, I'm taking notes. I'm not texting people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't forget points that I want to talk about.
Yeah. I got mine open too. And so we're good. We're chilling.
But like I saw myself doing that in the last episode, and I was like, I hope people don't think I'm texting someone.
Like I knew that you were taking notes, but then I was trying to look at it.
Because I know I'm going to forget. I'll like have an idea and I'll forget something, and then I'll come back to it unless I write it down.
Yeah. But we got that.
But continue.
So I got the word broken, right? And I was like, okay, no, broken, but like healing or fixing. I was trying to find some word to do it.
Yeah.
And then mending, and I put the whole thing together. I was like, broken but mending, and it was like,
that's the best gem in Minecraft. So it was meant to be.
Give us some what are there, books, some bookcases, enchanting tables.
And we're pretty much like in a Minecraft setting, we're in the middle of the plains right now.
Literally. middle of the grasslands, and we're just set to go, dude.
If we had a body of water, this would be the perfect place for a house.
Literally.
But oh, yeah, I forgot. This is why I write this stuff down, because I was talking about credit cards and I went to H&M to buy some clothes and stuff like that, and the total was like $90. And also, by the way, another quick tip is if you bring at least 3 articles of clothing to H&M to recycle them, they give you 15% off. So I was doing that already, and I like went to the register, and they're like, oh, even after all that, it's $90. I'm like, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. But then I realized I had $60 in cash back from just using my credit card every single day. And I got almost $100 worth of clothes for $30.
Dude.
So
see, I wish I would have known that. Like, you definitely told me this before I did this, but back when I when I lost all that weight, so I went from having a bunch of XL and triple XL clothes to going down to like large and mediums.
Yeah.
I purged all of my like large and extra larges, but I literally just put them in like a giant bag, like a trash bag, and I sent it to Goodwill. So like thinking about that now, I probably could have gotten a good amount of free clothes from like, or not free clothes, but
so like a discount, yeah.
Yeah, a good amount of.
Or if you bring it to not Poshmark.
Oh my gosh.
Plato's Closet.
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
That's like a place where you can bring old clothes, whatever, and they'll like buy them from you from pretty cheap. And some of the stuff they won't take if it's super old or whatever, but you can bring old clothes there and they'll give you a couple bucks. So yeah,
There we go.
there's one 12 minutes from here,
Oh, say less.
so do that. But yeah,
So
let's talk about.
back into what we're here for, and it's crazy that we're here because it only been a few days, and the feedback has actually been really good.
Yeah,
And
there's a lot more than I expected, to be honest.
yeah, no, me too. I was expecting it to be like 10, 20 maybe people, and it's like
well, I didn't think like anyone was gonna like start really even seeing it until like maybe 5-10 episodes later.
yeah,
And they were like, oh, I saw your thing, but
yeah. I thought it was gonna take a lot longer to get traction,
Yeah.
but I've had so many people already that like I haven't talked to in so long reached out to me or commented on like one of the reels that we posted on Instagram. By the way, we have an official Broken But Mending
Channel.
Instagram now.
Oh, okay.
Like we have a channel now, but like I made an Instagram account specifically for that.
sick.
So we have that now, so that's a thing. I'll have it linked and everything. So I've had people would comment on it, and people that like I haven't talked to in a while will say something about it, and they'll be like, "Oh, this is great!" Like I even had it with Instagram. It'll if you have it linked to your Facebook, it'll post that reel like to Facebook.
Yeah.
And a lot of my family members and all that stuff are on Facebook, so they saw it through that.
Oh yeah.
And my grandma on my dad's side, who just recently got like, I don't know if it's promoted, but she's an elder for like her church now, and she saw it because my dad shared it. We're now one of my elite employees. But she's an elder for her church now, and she saw it, and she was saying like, oh, you did such a great job teaching, and like it's so great to see like God working through you guys. And I'm like, that from her,
That's sick.
that means like the absolute world, because like I have looked up to her spiritually for as long as I've known her, especially recently. So for her to see it and say that, like it just,
Yeah, that's awesome.
you can really tell that like God is present and God is here through this podcast. And again, that was something I was worried about, and now I'm so glad that it's working out and that we're here doing this. And hopefully that we can continue to do that. So, but getting into it a little bit, one of the things that we got feedback a lot on was the opening and ending, because we had no idea what we were doing at first, but it's okay because we're going to change that.
Yeah.
So we are going to start by reading the verse of the day on the Bible app, which also, if you don't have, get, because it's
free.
literally the entire Bible in your phone that you have 24/7. It's in your pocket. Anytime you need a verse, search bar, boom, look it up. And just in case you don't know the verse, it's crazy because there's a whole search by topic section that you can look up stuff that if you need some kind of some wisdom on something.
And there's so many plans, like you can like any topic. I just go to plans, and this is the top ones that come up: love, anxiety, healing, anger, hope, depression, fear, peace, stress, patience, loss, jealousy, joy, temptation, pride, doubt. Like, there's legit a topic and a verse on everything.
On
So
literally everything.
there's any questions that you have about the Bible, and it's free. It's in almost like every single language.
It's still
And-
getting like translated today.
And if you suck at reading like I do, you can have it read to you. I'm kind of psycho, so I have it at 1.75 speed, but this is what it sounds like.
Isaiah 53. Who has believed our message, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed?
But yeah, and then you can easily highlight stuff and then send it to people, and there's like verses of the day every single day, which we'll get into. Yeah,
It's just a great
so
tool
helpful.
that you should have.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you're a new Christian and you're trying to figure out, how do I start reading the Word? This will single-handedly, like, get you through it at the start until you figure it out more yourself.
Yeah.
And even with the verse of the day, we'll read it. So it's Isaiah 53:6, and I'm reading in the NIV version. We
Same.
all, like sheep, have gone astray. Each of us has turned to our own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. Something that I like about the verse of the day is if you keep scrolling, it has people who will like talk about it and explain it. People who like are very spiritually mature and have a better understanding of the Bible, who have studied it, and they give this like super in-depth explanation of what it could be. So it helps you understand it, so you're not just doing it on your own,
Yeah.
which has been crazy helpful to me.
It's like a little like 2 to 5 minute TikTok video about the verse of the day. So
Yeah.
everyone that's got small attention spans, like I do,
There you
know, you can read it.
That's okay, me
I mean,
too.
you can watch it.
You're still scrolling. It's just in the Bible app. So,
Yeah.
you know, you can justify it like that if you
They
need
got to put a
to.
For You page on here.
No, seriously. Following, get a live section going, dude.
And like also, which is really helpful, is you can it'll keep track of like your streak of opening the app or whatever and reading every single day, which is like, I'm like a huge numbers person, so I like, you know, seeing numbers go up like that. So I've started reading the Word every single day 194 days ago. So I'm on day 194, 27 weeks in a row. So I don't know, it's cool just like to see that number, and it kind of motivates you to like, at least for me, to keep the habit, you know, because of like, it's like a Snapchat
like a
streak for Jesus. Like if you were to break that,
You're just gonna Holy Spirit's gonna convict you. Like, hey, bro, why'd you drop our streak? What's going on?
sending Jesus a streak. But yeah, and then you can add your friends on there and stuff, and they can see what you highlight, and but you can make it private if you want to, and yeah, they make it really cool.
Yeah, it's a great tool that everyone should have. Yeah. So, speaking of great tools that everyone should have, one of the things that I think everyone should start doing a lot more of, if you're not already, is memorize Bible verses.
Yeah, that's one thing I gotta
Because-
work on. I know like paraphrases, but I can't like recite them word for word.
Yeah. And honestly, that's like just the start of it.
Yeah.
You know? Because I can't tell you the amount of verses that like, I'll be like, I'm pretty sure it says this, this, and this here, but I don't know where it is.
But what I did, like when you showed me the notes that you had, that note about verses that you saved, I also I started doing that so that if like someone has a topic about something,
Yeah.
or a question, I can pull it up right away, and like I have them in like subsections too. Like one of them is how to be saved, one is like on money and materialism, one of them is on prayer, forgiveness, worrying, and I just have like, you can just easily copy and paste them into your notes app. Judging others, ask, seek, knock is a really good one. Why Jesus is God. Like, it really helps like while you're reading, like, oh, that kind of goes in with that section that I was writing. Copy and paste it, and boom, if someone has a question, like,
You just pull it up and then you have it right then.
yeah, like, oh, someone asked me like, oh, why do you believe that Jesus is God? Well, I go straight to Matthew 17:5. While he was still speaking, a bright cloud covered them, and a voice from the cloud said, "This is my son, whom I love. With him I am well pleased. Listen to him." And that
Yeah.
was God talking to John the Baptist while he was baptizing Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing with verses is, it's, people think it's like, oh, I'll just read the Bible, like, and I'll just kind of skim through it and I'll just whatever. And something you got to realize when it comes to being a Christian and studying the Word, it's studying the Word. It's like studying anything else and putting in the work to understand it and commit it to memory. because if you just read it through and you just kind of reading it and it's like, okay, cool, that was whatever, I did my daily reading, and then you move on,
Yeah.
you're skipping so much knowledge.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because what I started doing in the morning is I bought this like pack of different colored highlighters that I have for different things. I have sticky notes that I have that, like, if I have something that I want to write down because it's something stuck out, I'll write on it and I'll write whatever like the verse and chapter was, and I'll stick it in wherever the page is. And then I have this notebook that I have that every time I'll read at least a chapter, I'll mark the chapter, mark the date, and then I'll write a few notes on like what I thought of the chapter. And since I've been doing that, I've had a better understanding of what it is that I'm reading.
Yeah.
Because
like, annotating helps a lot.
Yeah, it does, because it's like, and the thing is, I can tell you this, I have not gone back and read any of those notes a single time, but I have a better understanding of everything that I've read than I did before I started.
And also when you go to reread it again, because like the Bible is not a book that, were you there that week when they talked about that at Parkview? It's like, it's not a book you just read once.
You read
and
once
put it
and you're
down.
done, yeah.
You read it reread it like for the rest of your life, and you're like always picking up new things. So like when you go back, let's say in a year or whatever, and you're rereading it again, you're gonna come up across those notes, and you're gonna have a better understanding of like maybe a different perspective, because you'll go through some things in life, and then when you come back, different verses and chapters kind of like have a different meaning.
Yeah, they have like depending on the situation, they could mean different things, or you could apply something that you read to a situation, and then you could be going through a different situation and then apply that to that situation. And it's like everything's connecting. And sometimes some verses will connect with other verses from different chapters of different parts of the Bible. And you're only going to get to that point by experiencing new things and by constantly rereading it and staying in the Word. That's the only way you're going to do it. Like the amount of times that I have reread the book of Romans, I couldn't tell you. But every time I do, I find something different. And the amount of times I'll be scrolling through TikTok and I'll have something pop up of like this Romans something, and I'll be like, oh, I didn't know that was in Romans. Yeah. And it's just adding to this list of, it's like adding to your ammunition box of things that you can use when something goes wrong. Because again, it's spiritual warfare. You're in a constant battle, so you need a big arsenal. You need a big armory to pull from. And that's what the Word is. Like memorizing scripture, that's the whole point of it, is having it so that you can use it in your time of need. Like one of my favorite verses is Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not rely on your own understanding. In all your ways know Him, and He will make your paths straight. The amount of times that I have been going through something that I didn't understand why it was happening, or I was in my feelings about something and I was getting angry or worried or stressed or something, and from my perspective, it didn't make sense to me how it was going to happen, how something was going to be okay. Yeah. The only way that I got through it was by memorizing this verse and remembering it, and that I'm trusting in the Lord with all my heart and do not rely on my own understanding, because sometimes the way that God's going to work is not going to make sense to us, but it makes sense to Him because He already planned it out. Yeah. Like, we don't know what like it's going to be on the next page or the next chapter, but He wrote the entire book. So like, all we got to do is trust the author of everything, and then we'll be all right. Yeah. And God is like outside of time. He's not constrained to our finite understanding of, the beginning and the end. Yeah. Like He already knows everything that happened and already knows everything that is going to happen. So when you kind of just like think about it like that, it's like, okay, at the end of the day, there's like so much little stuff that doesn't even matter, because in the end, you just gotta kind of trust that it's going to be all right. Yeah. Yeah, and even going into another verse that I have memorized is Romans 8:18, is for I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that is going to be revealed in us. That's one of the best ones ever. Like that, it was my favorite verse for a long time, and I have another one. It's 1 Corinthians 10:13, but this one got me through like the past 2 years of my life, pretty much, as long as I've been like an actual Christian, because looking at that, and it's like every time that I'm going through it, that verse just gets you through it, because it's like no matter how bad everything that I'm going through is right now, like there is something better at the end. Yeah. God has. And you have to think about like because like a lot of things that
on a lot of things. But like a big thing that people struggle with is context in the Bible.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, I read that verse, but like, who said it? Who wrote it down? Who's it to? All that stuff. When you like, especially like watching the Bible Project videos and like having a deeper understanding, like Paul is writing that to the Roman church while he's in prison,
Yeah.
and like he's pretty guaranteed that he's not gonna make it out alive.
Right.
And he still has that hope to write like an uplifting letter like that. Is like, okay, I think my life's bad sometimes, but like at least I'm not sitting in a prison cell knowing I'm going to be beheaded at any day.
Right.
Like, and still having a positive attitude like that.
Yeah, it's like if Paul can be in that bad of a situation and then still trust that it's going to be okay because God's going to take care of him, I think I can get through my day today.
Yeah.
A little bit, a little bit easier. Like, I don't think the fact that I got my coffee order wrong this morning is that big of a deal.
Oh my
I think
goodness,
I'm
I'm so bored. I scroll through TikTok for 4 hours and I feel like crap.
My life is terrible. I got nothing productive done today.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we gotta relook at our lives sometimes.
I had one of those days on, like, was it this past Saturday? I think, because like I was supposed to do something, but then plans fell out or whatever. And then I just like sat home the entire day, and I like couldn't think of anything to do, and it was like such a drag. And like that's one of those days where like I try to do something productive every single day, and if I'm not, like it's really hard for me to kind of just like sit and just not do anything all day. Like I just get like super just like anxious, and like I'm like, dude, there's got to be something I could have done. I don't know where I'm going with that, but I was just saying, like, I had one of those days on Saturday, and it was rough. But like, you know, on Sunday, it was a great day. So you just,
It's like, I think I just told that someone. Oh my gosh, English. I think I just told someone that today, that sometimes you gotta go through the bad days to appreciate the good ones.
yeah,
Like
if you can't appreciate the rainbows, if there's no rain,
exactly. Yeah.
if there's no rain, there would be no rainbows.
It's like that's the best part of, like, when it rains outside is the rainbow that comes afterward.
Yep.
Like, yeah. Even when like God puts us through trials and tribulations, and He teaches us some stuff in pretty not good ways. Like it can be rough sometimes to get through it.
Yeah.
That's the bad part. But then what He teaches us because of that, and what we learn and how we come out of that, is infinitely better. So it's like, would I go through that again to learn what God taught me? Absolutely. Like, you just gotta understand that it's part of the process sometimes. Sometimes it's gonna be rough.
Yeah.
But,
And like,
yeah.
if your life was, that's why, you know, heaven's for a reason. If, you know, heaven's perfect every single day, and there's no bad days, there's no sadness, no worry, no anger, frustration. But like, on earth, if you don't have any bad days, you're not going to appreciate the good ones, the hard times. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like, if we're going into that too, life can suck here sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like, we're down here, we're learning and we're growing, and like, we're following Jesus, and that sometimes that can be really tough and that can be hard.
Yeah.
But our ultimate reward is up there.
Yeah.
Like that's what we get out of the whole thing is life in eternity in heaven with God, like the guy who saved us and all that. And it's
Like the best day that you can even think of and fathom in your mind doesn't even come close to how good heaven is.
No, not even close.
So, and that's for eternity, not for 1,000 years, 100 years, million years, forever.
Yeah. It's like, take the best day you've ever had, multiply it by infinity, and then imagine that every single day for the rest of your life. That's heaven.
Yeah, maybe. Like,
Well, I hope so.
no, I'm not
I
saying
don't
maybe.
know.
I'm saying like
I don't know. I'm not there
more
yet.
than our brains can even fathom of that. I'm saying.
Right, yeah. Even more than that. Like, we don't have the capacity as humans to imagine how amazing heaven is really what it boils down to. And the way we get there is like living it out every day. Like, the only way that we're going to be able to run to God when we have those moments, and we have to like remember all these things, like about remembering Bible verses and remembering that it's going to be okay and that God's going to get us through it. All of that stuff, that all comes from living out that life every day,
Yeah.
right? And one of the things that we have to do sometimes to get to that point is looking at our inner circle. Like, we have to look at the people that we're hanging around with and the people that we're deciding to spend our lives with.
Yep.
One of the, I think, greatest decisions I've ever made was deleting social media for a month. Because I was such a, like, wake up in the morning, grab my phone and start scrolling.
Yep.
It's the first thing I do, and I
For how
would
long
do
do
it
you
for hour and a half to 2. Like, it would be so long, I'd just be in my bed and I'd just be scrolling and I'd get so distracted. And then after like hour and a half, 2 hours, I'm just like, oh, I should probably read my Bible. I should probably spend time with God today, huh? And I would get up and I would do it. But like, that 2 hours is time that I could have been spending with God.
Yeah.
But when I did delete social media, that like changed, right? Because it was gone. I couldn't do it. I'd wake up and I'd go to, on my phone where TikTok would, I'd subconsciously scroll on my phone to where it was and it wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh, right. I forgot that's not there anymore. So it would force me to start being more productive. And that's when I started really diving into spending time with Jesus every day. Like, that's when I understood how important it was, and I started doing it. I started building that habit. And now that I've done it, like, God has taught me so much in that time. And I honestly would recommend anyone who is addicted to social media anyway, like, delete social media for like, I don't know how long. For me, I needed a month.
Try for a day,
do
at
a
least.
day, a week even. Like,
Because
just
even
anytime at all.
most people don't go a day without opening Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or whatever,
Right.
Snapchat. I think Snapchat is a little different, but well, now they have like the stupid For You page kind of thing or whatever. But I
Yeah.
never even look at that. But
They have a part on Snapchat where you can scroll now, just like every other app.
Yeah.
That's why I did
yeah.
Snapchat.
Yeah. I don't know what I was saying. I was saying, like, if you have a problem with even scrolling on Snapchat, yes, delete it. But if you don't, I think Snapchat's the only reason I like use it is to a lot of people. That's how I kind of like send random videos to and stuff like that to stay connected with people. Because other than that, I like rarely ever just like text. So that's kind of like the way of kind of just checking up on people, running some videos and stuff like that. But
Yeah. Well, a lot of people
yeah.
I know, like, their main source of communication is Snapchat. And to me, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can't control them. So that's the only reason I really had it installed on my phone, was like, that's how people talk. So I'll keep it for them. But, so yeah, when I did that, it made me have to look at myself a lot, because I had to look at, why am I not as close to God as I want to be? Why is my relationship with Jesus not where it should be? And one of those things was because of the people that I was surrounding myself with.
yeah,
So when I deleted social media, one of the things that I did was, I made it public that I was doing it. I was like, hey, I'm deleting social media. If you want to stay in contact with me, here's my number. And very, very few people actually did it. So the people that did do that were people that I knew pretty closely, or that I already had their number.
yeah,
So it was like, not as many people did that as I thought they were going to, and it made me realize that, like, I'm not as close with a lot of people that I thought I was.
yeah.
You know,
Which is honestly fine, because it's better to have a smaller group of quality friends than a large group of not so quality friends.
exactly. It's better to, like, be close with 4 people than it is to be with 100 people that you don't talk to, that you don't share how your day was with. You know what I mean? Like, my close circle now is like 4 people.
Yeah, which is good. That's
Which is
really
really
all
good.
you need.
Because these 4 people are people that, like, I want to, like, hopefully be around in my life for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
And I wouldn't change that. Like, I'm glad I did it. So, and the thing is, when you have to look at your inner circle and decide, like, okay, who do I want to keep in this circle and who do I need to cut out because they're not a good influence on me?
Yep.
There were 2 people that I had to kind of distance myself from because they were not a good influence on me. And I anytime I would talk with them or like play video games with them, I'd notice myself falling into the way that I was before I was a Christian.
Yeah.
Like the kind of jokes I would say, my kind of language was really vulgar, and just a lot of the stuff that I would do and say and think, it was just, I felt super convicted about it. Like the Holy Spirit was like, hey, this is not what we just spent all this time working on for.
Yeah.
Like, you need to stop this. You need to cut them out, at least for a little bit. So I did. I stopped playing video games for like a long time, for longer than a month, because I would spend all my time either running or reading or going to the gym. I started playing guitar. All these things.
These are the things that you pretty much replaced with social media and stuff when you deleted it?
So yeah, instead of social media and video games and watching TV and all this stuff, I picked up new hobbies. I picked up like new things to spend my time on that was more productive than kind of wasting my time with stuff that didn't really get me anywhere in life.
Yeah.
And obviously the most important things that I was doing is I was waking up and I was spending at least like 30 minutes in my Bible, and I was spending time with God. And when I would run, I would pray before and after I would run. So the thing is, when you start reevaluating where you are at life and you want to grow a closer relationship with Jesus, your entire life is going to change, because we're called to be different than everyone else in the world.
Yeah, and it's gonna feel weird, and it's gonna you're gonna feel like an outcast and have FOMO because certain friends are doing stuff, and like you're like, oh, no, you really don't even want to go do that stuff because it's just not even fun anymore.
Yeah,
because when you have like a new perspective on it, and which is for the better. But yeah,
it's like, the world is going to look at you differently for the rest of your life. This day you become a Christian, you're going to be different, and that's a good thing. Because when you look at what the normal is for today, and you look at like party culture and hookup culture, like, I don't know about you, but that does not sound fun to me.
Yeah.
Like going out and partying every weekend and drinking and smoking and all these things and getting into relationships with people just for like the hookup part of it and no actual connection, like how does that sound appealing to people?
Yeah.
To me, like, but
just think about all the money that you can spend.
Right. All the money you're dumping on all that stuff. That's definitely a more like logistical look on it, but that's a good thing.
Even if you spend, and this is minimum $100 every week on alcohol and stuff like that and drinks. If you would have taken
you say invest that,
you say into a Roth IRA for 60 years.
No.
You would be a millionaire. No, think about it though. If you only put $400 a month into your Roth, bro, you would be a multimillionaire by the time you retire. So it's either you want to buy a couple of drinks, or do you want to have generational wealth for your kids and stuff?
Yep. If anyone doesn't know Taylor already or personally at all, Buddy has had some financial experience.
Dude, I could start a whole podcast on financial tips.
He really could. Like, he's probably like the most financially aware person that I know right now.
Maybe not like financially, what's the word? I don't have the most money.
No.
But I know how to manage the money that I do have.
That's what I'm saying, is aware. Like, you're aware of how finances work.
Yeah.
So like, if you literally say anything about, if you throw any amount of number and then like a dollar sign after, and you spent it on something, if Taylor is in the area, he'll if you just invested that amount of money, you just invested that $10 in like 100 years, you would have this amount. But like, why would you want to spend your life doing that when you could have eternity for the rest of your life? Yeah. And it's not as easy as that, though. I don't want to make it sound like it's the easiest thing in the world, because of how different we're called to be, changing your lifestyle to fit that is very difficult at times. Like it was for me. I had my entire life changed drastically. I used to be like a night owl, like hardcore. I would stay up until 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah, when you said you were going to the gym at like midnight, I was like, bro, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, I'd be going to the gym at like midnight, 1 o'clock, and then I would be up until 3. I would get up at like 11, noon, and I would just do nothing until I went to work.
But also, I do want to say this because people will be like, "Oh, you're whatever," but like, just because we like talk bad about like alcohol and stuff like that does not mean that we're perfect. Like, there's so many things that we struggle with.
Yeah.
And are no matter even how hard you try, you're never going to be perfect, anyways. And that's the whole point.
Right.
But the fact is that you're just even trying. So just because we say like, oh, we don't drink and smoke and stuff like that, doesn't mean we're not sinning in other ways, which we totally are. And you know, it's something you struggle with for your entire life. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to say that as like a disclaimer, because I'm, you know.
Yeah, like, oh, that's something that I wanted to get into at some point, was like, as what a lot of people do, a lot of so-called Christians will do, is they will like talk terribly about other people for doing that stuff, but then they won't look at themselves and work on their own stuff. So
I'm gonna find the verse when you're continuing on.
Yeah. Oh, I think I know what you're looking for. Like for me, there is stuff that I struggle with daily, and something that I had to learn was I need to be looking at myself before I judge other people, and instead of really judging them or like talking down about them, we should be praying for them.
Yeah.
So like what we were just saying about like today's culture and all that, like yes, that lifestyle is not the best, and as a Christian you definitely shouldn't be doing it, but we shouldn't be looking down on them because of it.
Yeah.
Because like if you look at what Jesus did, he spent time with tax collectors and sinners and all of these things, and he spent time with them and like had fellowship with them. He just never went to the sin. He never did it himself.
And it also says to hate the sin, not the sinner.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, if someone comes up to you and they're trying to like give you constructive criticism about, you know, stuff that you're doing in your life, don't take it as like they hate you. They just want you to be better.
Yeah. There's this one guy on TikTok that I don't know his name, but I've seen him a lot lately, is he'll go to like pride parades or anything like that, and he'll go up to people and he'll just introduce himself and he'll ask if he can like, he'll pray for them and he'll talk to them. And every time, whoever is on the other end of like his conversation is just so like
open about it.
They're open about it, but they're like listening to him.
Yeah.
Because he's not coming at them with this like
hatred and
you're
going
sinning,
to hell.
Like exactly. You're going to hell. You're doing all these terrible things. Like if you don't repent right now, he's like, no. Like, what does this mean to you? One of the things I saw was he went up to someone and asked them like, what does pride mean to you? What does love mean to you? And they explained it to him.
I might have seen this guy.
Yeah, he's gotten really popular lately. I'm gonna find his name after.
He like looks like someone around our age.
Yeah, he looks like he's mid-20s, something like that. And he'll just pray for them and talk to them about it, and they're always listening. And then it's so cool to see, because sometimes at the end of their conversation, he'll pray for them, and then the other person will be really into that prayer, and then they'll be like, oh, I really needed this today. I felt like something just reached me. And it's like, that's what happens when instead of
that's planting a seed right there.
Exactly, you're planting a seed, and that's what happens when we don't go to someone with hate and anger. We go to them with the love, because that's what we're called to do, is go to people with the love of Jesus and not hate and not anger and all that stuff. Like, we're not supposed to judge people, right? Our whole goal is to make heaven just a little bit bigger, and if we can do that by showing that same love to everybody, then that's the goal. That's the whole point.
The verse I was looking for is Matthew 7:3. Jesus is saying this: why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? Like, you can't go and try to condemn someone for their sins before you come look at yourself in the mirror and like, okay, what do I need to deal with first?
Right.
So,
yeah. And kind of going back to about who you're spending time around. Because like the only way that we're going to be able to do that and speak into people is if we are filled with the Holy Spirit. And that comes with walking the walk and growing that relationship with Jesus. And one of the ways we got to do that, like I said before, is surrounding yourself with Christ-like people. And there's this verse in Proverbs. It's Proverbs 27:17. It's, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. You're only really going to grow if the people that you are surrounded with are also pushing you to grow. You're pushing them to become the best version of their self, and they're pushing you to become the best version of yourself.
A few chapters before that, Proverbs 13:20 says, walk with the wise and you become wise, for companion of fools suffers harm. So it's literally that super cliche saying, but it is true for a reason. You are who you surround yourself with.
Yeah, you become the kind of person that you're hanging around with.
Even if like you have the strongest willpower ever, and you have a really good head on your shoulders, if you're going surrounded by certain people, you're going to become just like those people. Vice versa. If you surround yourself with good people, successful people, you know, you're going to become a good, successful person. But if you surround yourself with, you know, people that are not building you up, that's just...
then you're only going to go down from there.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to grow. You're going to stay stagnant in your faith, and you're not going to grow anymore. And it's hard to do that because sometimes we think, like, oh, but I've known them my whole life. They're my closest
They're like
friends.
a brother to me and stuff like that. And
Right.
like we grew up with,
And it's like, okay, sure, I get that, because I've been through it too. There's the people that I've had to cut out because of that.
Yeah.
But
Same.
you got to look at yourself, and it's like, okay, I need to grow in my faith before I can help someone else grow in their faith.
Yeah.
Because you can't help someone before you help yourself.
It's like the airplane thing. You have to put your mask on before you can help anybody else.
Exactly. So sometimes, like, you got to cut those people out, and if they're not growing you closer to God, and they're not just growing you as a person, even if you don't look at it from a Christian standpoint, like, if you're hanging around someone who is doing really stupid stuff and is making terrible decisions with their life, they're going to pull you into that stuff, whether you like it or not. So you have to look at that and be like, is this the kind of person that I want in my life? Is this the kind of person that I want to become? Right?
Is this person going to make me a better person or worse?
Yeah,
It's as simple as that.
And yeah. Word. When it comes to, like, I guess when you do start cutting people out, right? It's going to be hard because you're going to feel alone for a long time, because you start cutting all these people out, right? And your circle's getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until it's just like you and maybe one other person. But it's going to feel lonely. Like, your walk with Christ is going to feel really lonely for a while. And it's like, okay, now I need to find people who are also Christ-minded or Christ-like, right? And that is going to be hard to do at first, because you're going to have to put yourself out there. Like, you're going to have to get involved in a church somewhere, join a small group, like, put yourself out there, introduce yourself to people. And if you're not really, like, making that effort, then it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's hard to do. I don't want to say it's easy, because it's not.
Yeah.
You know,
nothing good comes easy.
No, nothing worth doing is easy. Like, for the longest time, I was, like, really alone, because I didn't have a lot of people that I was close with. Mainly after high school. I didn't talk to anybody after high school, pretty much, and I didn't have a lot of close friends after I left high school. So my circle was already really small, and then I had to cut even more people out, and I really just felt like by myself all the time. And so I would go to God about it, and I'd pray, and I'd ask him, God, I just need someone to go to. I just need someone to talk to. Like, I just need someone to share my faith with, you know? And sometimes before God will put new people in our life, he's got to grow us. Your relationship with Jesus is more important than anything else. That is the first thing that you should start working on, because that's what's going to matter when you get put into a new group of people. Like, it's good to have people who want to help build your faith if you're a new Christian, but also you want to be able to, like, relate to them on stuff.
Yeah.
So if you work on your relationship with Jesus first, then he'll bring people your way that will bring you up. And sometimes they're stronger in their faith than you, or sometimes they're on the same level as you, but whatever it is, it'll be good. I lost my train of thought for a second.
No, you're good.
Yeah, it's gone. Oh, yeah. So, when, you remember when we were both at B-Dubs and we, like, just started becoming friends and talking and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't remember how this conversation came about, but like, I think I asked you if you went to church at all, or like what your faith was or anything like that.
Yeah.
And we got to talking about it.
What made you want to ask that question?
I have no idea.
You're just like, screw it, let me just
I
ask
just
the kid.
kind of, I think at some point I like may have heard something about like you having faith or something like that. I think it might have come up in conversation at some point, but oh, no. It was something about working on Sundays, because I think that came up all the time. Like, are you working this Sunday, working tomorrow? Or like it was a Saturday or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I got church on Sunday. And I think that might have been the start of like the conversation. But either way, I felt like prompted, because I had been building my faith to the point where I was semi-comfortable talking to people about it, because I was at a point where I didn't know who I could really open up to about it, and I wasn't confident enough in my own faith to bring it up in conversation, right? Especially at work, because like I have no idea what people are going to think of me after that.
Yeah.
After
And
I
it
bring
is
it
really
up.
weird, like if you just ask people like who, like you never know. Unless you ask.
Yeah, you'd be surprised if you went up to like the average person and asked them like, are you a Christian, or do you have any faith at all, or like do you believe in Jesus, anything like that? A lot more people will say that they do than they won't.
It was really cool, like towards the end before I left, like how many people there were like open believers about it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna say names. I mean, I don't know, it wouldn't be bad to say names, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few people that
It gives me hope for the next generation.
yeah, right.
You know who you are.
You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, there was a lot of people that it's like once you start asking questions, you'd be surprised, man.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. Yeah. Because are you talking about the person who we did not expect to reach out to us about?
Oh, but not even that. I'm talking about the high school kids.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is really cool.
That was really cool. But yeah, when you start asking questions, you'd be surprised. But the thing is, we're like prompted to just ask questions.
Yeah.
Like, I'll rephrase that in a better way.
I know what you mean though. Like,
Yeah.
we're called to just like ask.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's like the only way that you're ever gonna really start spreading the love of Jesus and the word like we're called to do is if you just do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to step out in your faith and trust that God will make it happen, and that He'll be in it. You ask someone about their faith, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I went to a church when I was a kid, but I never like went back." And that's a big story that I hear a lot. It's a very popular one. It's like,
yeah.
we went
like,
to
we went on Christmas and Easter, but I don't really go anymore.
yeah, or it's like I went to church as a kid, and then we stopped going as a family, so I stopped going.
Yeah.
Like that was the whole thing with our close friend, because he went to church with his family for a bit, and then something happened in his church that was pretty controversial, so they stopped going.
Yeah.
And then he stopped going because he never went back with his parents.
It all starts with the parents, bro. Not even just like with faith and stuff, just parenting in general. Like, there's a lot of problems in the world that we have that really could just be solved with good parenting.
Yeah.
But that is a whole hour-long conversation.
That is
I just had this conversation with one of my brothers a couple days ago, and that would have been a good episode.
That's a whole topic. That'll be something we talk about in the next one. But yeah, when it comes to talking about it to people, you have no idea what God will do through you to someone else.
Yeah.
Like, you have no idea that how much that person might need you in that moment. And that if you're willing to step out in your faith and you're willing to trust that God will move through you into that person's life, what He could do in that situation and what He could do in that person's life. Because sometimes we're called to just plant a seed and leave it alone, and someone else will come along and nurture it. Sometimes the seed's already there and we're called to nurture it, right, and help it grow.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're there to plant the seed and nurture it all the way until it fully grows.
Yeah.
It's all, you gotta trust whatever God has planned for you and that person's life to do, you know? And it's gonna take a lot. Sometimes it'll take longer than other times. Sometimes it'll take you like a week. few days to get it started. Sometimes it'll take months of just constant like repetition of bringing it up.
Yeah.
Like we have a one friend that we are continuously trying to just plant the seed. The seed is planted. It's trying to keep it growing because.
Just got attacked. Is he on me?
Yep.
Get it off! Get it off!
Legit.
This is a cicada?
Yep. You chilling, bro?
Well, Brad, I just bought this shirt.
You chilling, bro? Leave him alone. Leave him alone. You better watch it.
On the wrong block.
Bro stumbled on O-Block. Anywho.
What were we saying?
But yeah, we have that one.
Oh yeah, just like sometimes you just gotta keep planting that seed and just keep sprinkling it every day and keep watering it.
Mm-hmm.
And just praying that it'll grow.
Yeah. And in the meantime, while you're doing that, you gotta make sure that your own faith is steady.
Yeah.
You know, because
You
people
gotta
will
put
go
on
to
the
you
armor of
with
God.
Yerp. I think, what is that? Ephesians 6:11. I think it's. I really hope that's right. I think it's Ephesians 6:11 where it's like put on the full armor of God so that you can stand against the schemes of the devil. I think.
Ephesians 6:11. Dang, he's on it.
Dude,
Chat.
somebody stop me. I'm telling you, dude, memorize Bible verses, bro. They are useful tools, all right?
Indeed.
But yeah, you gotta, like I said, you gotta make sure that your own faith is steady because people are gonna come to you with questions about stuff, and it's gonna be really hard at first because you're not gonna have all the answers to all the questions, you know, and you're not supposed to, because people are gonna ask you like. Some people are going to try to get you with gotcha moments of like, oh yeah, since you're such a strong Christian, like how many angels are in heaven?
Yeah.
Like, when is God coming back? All these things, and it's like, that one has an answer.
Which nobody knows for sure.
Yeah, that one
People
has
try
an
to
answer. But
guess it all the time, but it says he will come like a thief in the night. But people, for some reason, just try to guess. Oh, it's the end times. He's going to come back this month, or he's going to come back on the solar eclipse, or. all
yeah,
that
when
stuff.
that whole thing was going on.
But it says no one will not know the day or the hour.
Yep. But
there will be signs.
there will be signs.
And it will come when we least expect it most.
Least expected most. Word. Where was I at?
When we least expect it most. Doesn't make any sense, does it?
It's okay. The point was made. The point got
I
across.
barely passed English. Give me a break.
Passed English. But what was I at? Yeah, you're not gonna have all the answers, but like the more that you spend time in the Word and you're learning as much as you can, the more you're gonna be able to answer those questions to the best of your ability. You know?
Yeah.
And it's okay to tell people that you don't have all the answers either.
Yeah.
Because we're people, we're humans. We're not supposed to understand the guy who created all of the universe and everything. It would be
Do not
kind of
rely on our own understanding.
exactly. Like that plays even more into that. It's like we're not supposed to understand how everything works. But the thing is, why do we need to if we know that the God that we're trusting has our best interest in heart and wants us to succeed and wants what's best for us?
Yeah.
We don't I don't need to know how something's going to work if I know that God's going to make it work anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it can happen in some crazy way that I never saw coming, which is probably going to happen because that's how God works. Like, almost all the time.
Yeah.
Especially with, relationships, that's a big one for me right now. There's stuff going on, man, that I do not understand, and I have been in constant prayer about it for the past, day now. And I'm just like, I have no idea what's gonna come out of this. But I have to keep remembering that, God is gonna take care of it, and I'm gonna trust that it's in His hands, and the trust that He'll take care of it. That's something that I saw. It's why are we worrying about stuff, and why are we concerned about stuff when it's in the hands of the one who created everything?
Yep.
What's the verse about casting all your cares and worries on Him?
Cast all your anxieties onto Him because He cares for you. 1 Peter 5:7.
Yeah. It's you put everything out. You just give it all to God because He's going to take care of it. It's I feel like that's one of the biggest misconceptions that people have about God is that He's this this cruel, ruthless God who will punish you if you don't listen to Him. And He's this angry, just terrible God. Because people look at like the Old Testament of God
Yeah.
without context of New Testament God.
Yeah.
And it's like, God is not this cruel, ruthless creator. He is someone who loves you so unconditionally and with everything in his being.
Willing to die for you,
Like,
brutally.
he sent his son to die for us. And like, Jesus died the death of a convicted criminal, and
When he did absolutely nothing wrong.
he literally didn't do anything wrong. And that kind of death, like a convicted criminal death, then 10 times worse than anything it is now.
Even the guy who was a pilot,
Yeah.
when he's like, he's got him and Barabbas.
Mhm.
He's like, who would you rather have me let go? Jesus of Nazareth or Barabbas who murdered somebody? And everyone's like, Jesus. He's like, what? He's like,
what did he do? Like, what? Yeah,
the-
he's like, crucify him, and it's like, what did he do? What has he done wrong? And they just kept yelling, crucify him. And even Pilate was like, okay, like, he didn't do anything, but sure.
yeah. He didn't want to go against the people because it would start like a riot or something
Yeah,
like that.
it was
so.
like, he doesn't want to rile up the people, which
Yeah.
would have been bad. And it's like, I was reading, so I just finished Mark, and I think the hardest part about reading the Gospels is reading about his crucifixion,
Yeah.
because it's like every time I read it, I have to read everything that they put him through.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a quick, let's slap him on the cross and he'll be done.
No.
No, it was, we are going to flog him, we're going to whip his back, we're going to put a crown of thorns on him, we're going to make him carry the cross all the way to the mountain. We're going to put him, first of all, the actual crucifying bit is insane, because it's like you're slamming nails into someone's wrists and then feet and having them hang there. Like, there's a scene in The Chosen where they're like, I forgot where Jesus and the disciples are walking into, but there's
I
people
saw.
getting crucified outside
Yeah,
of
yeah,
it. And the sound of them hammering those nails and the guy like screaming,
Yeah.
and Jesus having to look at that and seeing like, that's what's gonna happen.
And he already knew it. Like,
That's what got me. I was like, he's
Yeah.
looking at that because he knows that's what's gonna happen to him, but it's gonna be 10 times worse.
that was a great detail that they added.
It was so good that it's like, then they made, and the entire time that it's all happening, all the people that have been praising him and worshiping him and all this stuff are now yelling all these terrible things at him, like, oh, if you're the Son of Man, then you can like call down Elijah and he'll come save you or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, the fact that he, number one, he knew this was going to happen, and he still did it. It was, what was when he went up to mountain and with what was it, Peter, James, and John, and he went up to, and all three, they fell asleep, and Jesus went up and prayed to God and was like, God, if it's in your will, like, there's got to be a way out of this. But if there's not, if it's whatever it is, your will, like,
Your will
I'll
be
follow
done,
it.
not mine.
Right. And it's like the fact that it was that bad that he was moved. I think it was something about, I need to know the verse of this, but he said, like, I was moved. He told the disciples he's grieved to the point of like death or something like that. And it's like, it's the fact that he knew it was going to happen, and he was still like worried and anxious about it, and he was so grieved about it, and he did it anyway. It's like, that's the kind of God that we serve. That is the kind of person that we're living for. So when you're thinking like you're giving everything to God, you're not just giving it to this cruel, ruthless creator of the universe. You're giving everything to the guy who, number one, created you, took 9 months to carefully weave you together in your mother's womb,
Knows every single hair on your body.
knows every single hair on your body, looked at the world and decided it needed one of you, sent his own son to die for you, and loves you so unconditionally. That's the person you're putting all of your trust in. I don't know about you, but that's pretty safe and secure to me.
Yeah.
Like, if that's the guy that I know is taking care of my situation, I'm good. If he's got it, then I'm good. I don't need to worry about it anymore. And every single time that I've done that, he has come through in a way better way than I thought he was going to. Like, but it's hard to do sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes
Because when you
it's not
don't
easy.
see how it makes sense and you don't see how it's going to turn out, it's hard to do. But repetition and trust and faith, and it's just how it's got to happen. It's how it's got to happen. You know, it's the only way you're going to do it is practicing it, and practicing it in every little aspect of your life. Like every little thing that you think isn't important, if it's important to you, it's important to God because He cares about what you care about. So sometimes you got to start trusting God in the little things. If it's like, it's a funny little thing for me for running with the cicadas out now. When the first time I did it, I ran outside with the cicadas out. I was getting attacked left and right.
Dude, I know.
Because like
so annoying.
when they fly at you and they don't know you're there, they come at you like missiles and just nail off you. Or they land on you and you have no idea they're there, and it freaks
so
you out when you find out.
Like just like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, it was just on your back and you had no idea. Like he's still
Bro
there.
died. Well, they're all supposed to be dying off like really, really soon because they only live like a few weeks.
Oh, that makes
They
sense.
stay
I
in their
haven't seen a lot of
cocoons,
them.
whatever, like 17 years or something like that. It is their eggs, and then when they're actually alive like this, they only live like a few weeks.
Dang,
So
that's
they
kind
should
of
be all
sad.
dying soon.
That's kind of sad. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah, dude, be gone.
Bro, they literally do nothing.
They're
just
enemy
exist.
number one right now.
They're public enemy number one. But yeah, when I was running, they're just attacking me, and something that I was like, look, God, I know you are the creator of everything, and you have the power to control every living thing on this planet. So please let them leave me alone on this run. I am begging you right now.
Imagine you're like running, you're like breathing with your mouth, so your mouth is open, and one just goes.
Oh, dude, don't say that. I'm gonna be thinking about that next time I go for a run, dude. Thank you.
Close your
for
mouth.
that. That's awful.
It's better to breathe through your nose, anyways. Have you seen those videos where the guys have like the tape over their mouth where they're sleeping?
Yeah.
Because like apparently like mouth breathing is bad and something. So like it's a weird thing. I do actually kind of want to try that.
Putting tape over your mouth?
People put like
Seriously?
legit like I don't think duct tape, but a certain tape over your mouth, maybe like a softer tape, maybe like medical tape or something, so that you are forced to breathe out your nose while you sleep. It like will help your sleep a lot. I heard. So yeah, I might try it out.
Interesting.
It's like a proven fact that it helps.
I can see how that makes sense. I don't know about putting tape over my mouth though.
But like how
That
else are you
sounds,
gonna how else are you gonna make sure that you don't breathe through your mouth?
Right. That's true.
That's funny.
But yeah, so like trusting God in every little aspect of your life. That's just what you got to do sometimes. And when you do that, the more you do that, the more you implement God in those little aspects of your life, whether that's at work, at the gym, or any hobbies that you do. Like implement Him in, like include Him in the things that you're passionate about and the things that you're doing.
Yeah.
Because then you'll be more aware of what He's doing in your life.
Just even saying a quick prayer before like going to the gym and stuff like that, to just pray that you have a good workout and that you don't hurt yourself and
Yeah, and with the gym, it's a big thing with praying that you're not. I'm not working. That's something that I got to was, I think we've talked about it, is I'm not working out to look like crazy big so people will look at me and be like, oh wow, he's buff, he's crazy built.
It's more for myself
Like
than anything.
it's for yourself, but it's also like I'm trying to
Take care of your body.
honor the body that God gave
Yeah,
me.
'cause you only got
I'm making my
one,
body
so you
a
might
temple.
as well take care of it.
Exactly. It's like I'm trying to make my body a temple and treat it like that because this is the body that the Holy Spirit resides in.
Yeah.
And I need to make sure it's the strongest temple that I can make it.
Yeah.
So, something like that. That's just a small thing. And then for me, like practicing guitar, I'm like, my whole reason for wanting to learn guitar is that so that whenever I'm with a group of people, like, and we're thinking about having a Bible study or talking about God or something, that like if I learn guitar, I can learn worship music. So
that'd be
I
cool.
can bring like worship to whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, and if I can be that for people, like other people have been that for me, then if God is willing, then I'd like to do that.
Yeah.
So whenever I'm playing, I'm asking God, like, God, I'm doing this because I want to worship you through music. So I just ask that you'll help me learn to the best of my ability. And running too, it's another part of making your body a temple, is running, because I think it's one of the healthiest things you can do is run. But
I heard it's actually very bad for your feet.
well, you know what, dude? You know what, buddy?
So maybe not one of the healthiest. things
Okay,
you do,
not the one of
but
the
it's
healthiest.
very healthy. You should
I think-
definitely do some sort of exercise cardio.
Yeah,
But you can like ride a bike, too.
Yeah, if anything, discipline. You're going to build discipline when it
Yeah.
comes to running for sure. If you do anything active, to be honest, going to the gym, running, whatever it is, you're going to build discipline. And I think that's a crazy good character trait to have.
Yeah.
Because when you build it in something like that, it's going to transfer to other things. You build discipline in one area, you're going to want to build it in other areas.
Yeah.
So,
and also like working out and stuff, especially like if you do it in the beginning of the day. If you go and work out in the beginning of the day, like you're purposefully putting yourself through a hard task the rest of the day, like little stuff that happens that, you know, upsets you. It's like, or like little hard things you have to go through the rest of the day. It's like, bro, I went through a horrible hour-long session of working out. You know, this is really nothing.
Yeah. It's like if I can go to the gym at like 7, 8 in the morning, I'm pretty sure I can do anything else today.
Yeah.
I think I'm good.
Yeah.
And honestly, the earlier you do it, the more you want to do other stuff, the more productive you want to be.
Yeah.
Like when I work out in the morning, I'll be like, oh, you know what? I should also practice guitar.
Yeah.
You know what? Since I did that, let me read for a bit.
Yeah.
And also, you know what? Let me do this, and then you just become just productive.
Like one thing I was really worried about with this new job is like waking up at 7 o'clock every single day. And because like in school, that was like one of the worst things for me. Like I was so bad at waking up early, but honestly, like it has put my sleep schedule in a very good spot. Like even on the weekends, I'm waking up at like 8, 9.
Yeah.
And it's like before I would sleep until like 10 o'clock. And it's been nice because like I had just like so much more of the day, and just, I don't know, just felt like a lot better.
Yeah.
We should wrap soon because
Yeah, because you gotta get going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to make it to that open mic.
All right. Yeah, cool.
We were good for a solid hour.
That was oh man.
Yeah.
That's not how long I was expecting it to be, but you know, God works like that sometimes.
It's good.
So, anyway, yeah, that'll be it. Like I said before, we do have an official Broken But Mending Instagram now. So if you want to stay updated on when we're going to be posting next episodes, or any info if we're like not posting something next week or the following week or whatever like that, be sure to look at those. Also, if we are very open to feedback.
Yeah, definitely if you have questions or like stuff that we could work on, and
any criticism at all, we want to hear. And if you have questions about stuff that you like want to have talked about, let us know.
Ideas for topics.
Yeah, both of our handles on everything are going to be linked in the description here, and in my personal Instagram and all that stuff. So yeah, we'll continue to do our best to listen to what God has for us to say and talk about, because we don't want to talk about anything that is not glorifying to Him and is not growing His kingdom in some way.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to end with prayer this time.
I was gonna say, do you want to say a quick prayer and then we'll end it out?
So I'll pray us out. All right. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for waking us up this morning and giving us an opportunity to live for you and glorify you in everything that we do, Lord. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk about you on this platform and through this podcast, Lord. I can't thank you enough for being so present in this area, Lord, and in this time, Lord, giving us the words to say and the things to talk about. And I just ask that we would be able to reach just one person, Lord, that you would use this podcast to reach one person who is going through something. And I just ask that you would remind them and us that you are always with us. You are always present, and you are always working behind the scenes, even when we don't feel it or we don't see it. You are always working for our betterment, for our growth, Lord, because you love us so unconditionally, Lord. And I can't thank you enough for everything that you have provided for us and that you're going to continue providing for us, Lord. I ask that we would continue to learn and grow closer to you and learn more about your heart and your word, and that we'd be able to continue to reach people, Lord, and that whatever your will is for us, that you would give us discernment and understanding to be able to follow it, Lord. In your holy name I pray. Amen.
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 See you guys next time. Peace.